Okay, I want to talk about the Pisces energy in connection with evolutionary astrology, which is what I've studied and what I practice. I've studied a lot of different types of astrology, but evolutionary astrology is the main one, the main base for me. And I want to paint a picture of Pisces and how vastly different the high expression is versus the low expression. This is true for all the signs, but Pisces, we can see it very clearly. So there's a saying for Pisces. I studied, again, evolutionary astrology mainly under Stephen Forrest. He was one of the teachers, and then Jeffrey Wolf Green. Those were the two main pioneers of evolutionary astrology. And so this quote is from Stephen Forrest. And he says about Pisces that they can remain, it's either like learning how to work with your immense sensitivities or remain wide-eyed and overwhelmed from cradle to grave. Wide-eyed and overwhelmed from cradle to grave. So fucking good. It's just like the essence of this Piscean energy. And Pisces representing the two fish, right? Two fish swimming in opposite directions. And it is the sea of consciousness. That is the ocean, our hypothetical ocean for our hypothetical Piscean fish. Two fish swimming in opposite directions, the ego and the soul. And so for Pisces, they must continue to dive down, further and further into the sea of consciousness without getting stuck and then getting stuck in like a trance, like they're alive, they're physically alive, but they're no longer here. You know, you've probably seen those types of Piscean people, the wide-eyed and overwhelmed, you know, their eyes open, because they're constantly taking in all of the information. It's like having 10 different news channels playing at the exact same time, volume turned up on all of them, and you're hearing about, you're hearing, you're seeing, you're sensing, however the fuck the information comes through to you, but it's coming through. If you're a Pisces, or if you have strong Piscean energy, you have strong aspects to Neptune. If Neptune is your strongest planet, if you have planets in the 12th house, this can all relate to you. And so for Pisces, if they don't learn to work with their immense sensitivity, if they don't learn to keep diving down in the sea of consciousness, and they get stuck at any of the levels, going down into the ocean, down into the sea of consciousness, if they get stuck and then get left in that trance-like state, in shock, basically, because of their innate sensitivity to the world around them. This is how the Piscean energy can show up so differently for different people. It's like some people, I've met a lot of Piscean people that are in the military or, do some type of job like that where they, I feel, have had to numb themselves, right? They've had to completely turn the volume all the way down and just completely detach and disassociate. And this is where we see the shadow side of Pisces. This is where we see escapism, just wanting one little drink, or take the edge off, to just numb them a little bit, because it's their sensitivities are constantly heightened. And so they need to learn how to work with that. It's not just a good idea. It's vital to your well-being and to your life. There's a lot of Piscean people, a lot of water people that have, a lot of people in general that have ended their life. But I feel that a lot of times, if you have so much water in your chart and you don't know what to do with it, you just want it to stop. You just want the emotions to be turned down. You just want the volume down in whatever fucking way it takes. And this is when you see people not wanting to be here because it's so much, or turning to, drugs, alcohol, ways of escaping because their sensitivity is so much. Conversely, speaking about Pisces, we can also speak about their innate psychic abilities that they have, because again, the volume being turned all the way up on their sensitivities, they're feeling everything around them. They are constantly taking in the emotional undercurrents of the world, constantly connected to that. And there's a fine line with being so sensitive to the world around you and then spiritual psychosis, thinking that everything is a sign and there's deeper meaning in everything, and kind of losing yourself in that. That can be a thing for Pisces. So needing to, be grounded, being connected to this earth. Although Pisces also rules transcendence. And so we can see that in the spiritual figures, the religious figures it's like once you've reached the deepest level of Pisces, like the highest possible expression, you've transcended religion. You've transcended like the attachment to one way of being. And it's like all of the leaders, all of the spiritual teachers that have like transcended this earth, but we're in a physical body. It can do the Pisces people a lot of good to like meditate upon them, to connect with their energy, that energy of transcendence, of unconditional love, of forgiveness, of compassion. That is the essence of Pisces. Again, it being the last sign in the zodiac, it rules just that, like the surrendering, the letting go, the going back to God, to the oneness, your higher power of choice, whatever the fuck. But it's like the dissolving away of all of the boundaries. You know, that's why it's hard. Pisces doesn't have boundaries naturally. Like the water signs, water doesn't have a boundary. So it is incredibly important for, I use all the water signs like interchangeably or speak about just the water element in general, because it can show up in a similar way for if you have a lot of water in your chart, you need to work on strong boundaries. Maybe you naturally are drawn to people with a lot of earth energy in their chart, whether you know it or not. Your energy is going to be drawn to those types of people because they give you a structure, they give you a container where the water can kind of flow within. Love water and earth combinations of people and friendships. It's really beautiful. So that is my little riff on Pisces and this Pisces season that we're in, and how this energy feels really weird. It feels like, because there's no structure, there's no set anything. It's like really being able to look at our relationship with the subconscious, with the intuitive, with the like imaginal realms, with the non-logical, non-rooted in reason things as we're moving through Pisces season. There's a lot of that like nebulous, ethereal, like what is real and what is not. And that is not like the default of the world. So it can be really uncomfortable for people. It's just a lot of water in the sky right now in general, which can bring up a lot of emotions and feelings. But anyways, I love Pisces. I love the Piscean energy. And I just think it's so important for those people to have, you know, these tools, to have the strong boundaries, to understand that like you came into this world with an immense psychic sensitivity to the world around you, and probably a lot of like intuitive psychic gifts built in. You know, maybe you have prophetic dreams, maybe you can just really easily pick up on the energy around you, feeling what's going on for other people, knowing what other people need. The water signs are great at this. Like they know how to comfort someone or what another person is needing or how they're feeling. It's just kind of like a natural gift that a lot of the water people have. I would say damn near all of them, unless again, if they've turned it off. So that is the goal for Pisces, to not get stuck at any point along in your like descent into the sea of our subconscious, of consciousness in general. And if they do get stuck, then they can like through escapism, or they can also like hyperfixate on other people, on you know, Pisces people. Like I'm thinking of like some older Pisces people that I know can just get really focused on like soap operas or like reality TV, or like celebrities in other countries are just like kind of living vicariously through them and become kind of obsessed with that. Pisces rules television and like smoke and mirrors, and again, what is real and what is not. So yeah. Okay, that's my little rant, connecting all the dots about Piscean things and how evolutionary astrology really paints this picture of, you know, every sign having a high expression and a low expression. And that's why it can be so important and so helpful to understand that within your own chart, because you can be aware of like, okay, I'm going in the low road of this sign. Like I can see myself doing these things or these patterns, and like, how do I take the high expression of this energy? You know, knowing if you have a lot of Pisces in your chart and you're incredibly sensitive, knowing that the tendency could be like the default could be to escape, to numb, to, you know, want to push the weight of the, like the emotions of the world away. And it is literally, that is why you're here, to feel all the things, to gather tools to work with this, and to continue on your descent into the psyche, into the subconscious, into the imaginal realms, like getting to that place of transcendence, unconditional love, forgiveness. That is the highest expression of Pisces. So, okay, that's all the time that we have on this fucking app here.